Hello. How's everybody doing? How's it going? How's everybody cooking? I hear the spoilers are not out, which is great. That makes me very happy that the spoilers are not out and I don't have to worry about them when streaming. That is kind of nice. That's a win for a lot of people. Thank God. Hello, Jorg. Welcome. Uh, whew, I'm a little tired actually, so I might not make this stream too long. Yes, Jorg, you and everyone else. Everyone has a fucking theory they want to tell me. Like, come on. Everyone has a fucking theory they want to tell me. Here we go. I have a theory about what might happen in the next chapter, especially because of Umi. I've been wondering what Minnie was present during Umi's confession. Maybe the moment may be important for Chizuru. She might realize something here about how Kazuya really felt in the situation with Umi. Everybody keeps coming to me and saying this exact thing when I literally said it last stream. You're the third person to come to me and tell me this when I literally said this last stream and I fucking tweeted it. Y'all are so funny, dude. Y'all are so fucking funny. I literally said this last stream and I tweeted it. Like, here, I'll just pull up what I fucking wrote. Like, I'm 90% sure most people got that idea from me. And they don't even realize it. Here. Here, look. Minnie heard that it didn't end well. It makes you wonder, would Minnie be angry here and assume the worst? She saw Umi confess to Chizuru and Chizuru didn't tell them. From an outsider's POV, this matches the story we were told by the driver. Could Minnie say this to Chizuru? Minnie telling Chizuru that her and Kazuya saw this would be interesting, setting the stage for Kazuya to know everything about Umi, but also showing Minnie's assumptions that she always had, highlighting how insecure Minnie actually is, and Chizuru could call her out on this. But also, Chizuru could get informed about how Kazuya felt at the time, right? And at the same time, like, we have Kazuya keeping certain things from her too. So, like, literally, I said this already. My dudes. I fucking said this already. Oh my god. Yeah, and then I delve into Minnie a little more here and like the ideas behind that. But yeah, like I was literally talking about this last chapter. I even mentioned like on my account like how this thing with Minnie right here could is probably going to end up being important, right? That the conversation they had here is going to be important. Speaking of which, for chapter 273, I was really curious. So I saw the volume translations, and the volume translations has Minnie saying stuff a little bit differently. So I was just like, shit, what's going on? Because sometimes the volume translations are right, and sometimes the volume translations are wrong. The particular thing that got my attention that I'll show you to you guys right here that I asked Japanese that like I asked my friend who speaks Japanese translate it for me, and we got the correct fucking translation. Thank God. Fuck the volume translations, by the way. They're always goddamn wrong, and it's starting to piss me off. Like literally, it's just straight up mistranslating shit. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. So Chizuru asks Minnie, how do you see Kazuya? What do you have? Yeah, let's just get into it. I was just wondering from your perspective what kind of person he is. Listen to what Chizuru says here. Hey, why do you go so far out of your way to stand in his corner? Huh? I mean, I just mean like even if we did start dating, you wouldn't get anything out of it, right? But you'd think it was all for you. I was just wondering from your perspective what kind of person he is. I see she's making progress. I get everything you've been saying, and I know I'm not in a position to ask you to be okay with anything and everything. She does this right after getting into an argument with Chizuru. She does this right after, like, what does Minnie try to do earlier? Minnie literally jumps into the bath with her. She invades her personal space. Right? So what does Minnie say here? So, have you made any progress? right? Have you made any progress? Like, I'm sure you've had more and more relaxed moments around him. It's whatever. I mean, it's not like I mind having him around, and he wasn't causing any trouble, so I appreciate that. But you've got the wrong idea. I don't mind him doesn't mean I like him. The wall of steel, just gonna squeeze in here, jumps into her personal space. Minnie literally jumps into Chizuru's personal space because of how Chizuru presented herself to Minnie here. So this is the big illusion that I think is going to break next chapter. This illusion of the wall of steel, how Chizuru doesn't open up to Minnie, how Chizuru doesn't tell Minnie how she's actually feeling, because right, I don't mind him is kind of inaccurate to how Chizuru actually feels, right? So that's not how Chizuru actually feels. She doesn't. I don't mind him. She's just scurrying around the issue, and we can go. I actually ended up buying the chapter. I actually went and bought the chapter. And the translations from K manga are good, but the volume translations are bad. So let me open up this chapter. So what does Chizuru say here? I don't really mind, you know. He doesn't annoy me, and I'm thankful for a lot of things he's done for me. But they're not the same thing, right? Don't mind and like. She's an impenetrable wall. Excuse me, jumps into her personal space. And again, when Minnie does this, they get into a fight. What the hell are you thinking? It's not gonna happen. What's the big deal? It's female bonding. Hey, watch your hands. That was an act of God. I just bumped it. Then get out. You know what? Enjoy yourself. Hey, hold on a second. I don't care if you guys haven't had any trouble or if you've been appreciative. That's not what I'm talking about. Hasn't having him around made you happy, made your heart pound for even a second? Be honest. He didn't happen to say anything to you, did he? She's sharp. No way. I'm sorry, Master. I'm out of ideas. And then she gets into this part. Why do you go so far out of your way for him, right? So when we get into this is where the English the official translations fuck up, because what they do here is this. Minnie starts talking about other people. People are scaredy cats. Oh, that's out of my reach. No, I'm aiming too high. They find excuses to give up on things. Jesus Christ, listen how the official translations for the volumes translated it. And I was so baffled and confused, and it's just like, what the fuck, guys? Like, what the shit? So when I read this, I was really confused because she makes it about Kazuya. Most people are scaredy cats at heart. She's out of my league. She's way too good for me. That's completely different. They'll make up an excuse to give up. I'm sure he's just trying to protect himself. She's talking about Kazuya suddenly. And then she says, when he first told me about you, I couldn't help but think, to see someone's love outshine their fear, that's something that's really special about that. Except, this contradicts her statement because she's talking about other people, and she contrasts that with Kazuya and how Kazuya's love outshines his fear. And when I read this, I was so fucking confused because I was just like, wait, is Minnie talking about Kazuya in all of this? When in reality, no, it's the same exact thing here. Listen to she says the same thing here. I'm sure it's just for self-protection. She's still talking about other people. She's not talking about Kazuya. Then she talks about Kazuya, right? These words float around him, right? These words literally float around Kazuya. People get daunted, you know? Some people think they're not worthy, or maybe they assume things are out of their league, and they're looking for a reason to give up. But I'm sure it's just for self-protection. But when Master first told me about you, I thought, how glorious is that love trumps fear. The value of one's life is not something you put in a coffin, but something that's etched deep into your soul. Even if it doesn't work out between you two, I'll still support Master. So this is important because these words literally float around Kazuya as if they're trying to define him. Literally like how when Chizuru walks into the room and all the men talk about her, like the words are literally trying to define her, but they aren't him, right? So she literally talks about how people want to give up, and here's Kazuya walking forward, not giving up. So that's kind of the thing with Kazuya. Even in the date, He's not actually giving up, right? Even though he's afraid, he's actually still trying to move forward. It's just the illusion of the self. So I genuinely think this is going to come back because Minnie starts to see Chizuru here, but Chizuru didn't fully open up to Minnie. And I think this conflict next chapter is going to be important between the two of them because I think this is when Minnie's really going to see Chizuru, right? When Chizuru's really kind of going to open up to Minnie, or she might not open up to Minnie right away, and Minnie may say some hurtful shit, right? We don't know how it'll play out, right? We don't quite know how it'll play out because regarding how it's going to happen is going to be interesting because Minnie has this POV of Chizuru and it's literally shown in how desperate she is to see what Chizuru is thinking, right? She really wants to know what Chizuru is thinking. She's just desperate to fucking know. It's not just about being annoyed or feeling grateful, is it? It's about being happy to be around him or feeling some thrill. Don't you feel any emotions at all, really? Listen to that. The wall of steel. That Chizuru doesn't feel anything. Minnie is the one who says this. Minnie is the one who sees Chizuru not having emotions. And what is the thing we see in the current chapter? Literally, what is the thing we see when he walks in through the door? Minnie is full of emotion. Chizuru has none. When Kazuya is leaving the house, Chizuru has no emotion. And Kazuya has a lot of emotion, and he's confused by her lack of emotion, right? But isn't that in itself the illusion that Minnie needs to see emotion from Chizuru to validate her own feelings? That like, okay, you must be feeling something, right? Like it scares me that you act like you don't feel anything. But Minnie constantly sees how much Chizuru feels. She just needs to validate that by seeing Chizuru react here. Even though she's putting Chizuru in a compromising position where Chizuru acts like here. Why does this whole thing even happen in this chapter? Why is Chizuru all cut off with Minnie here? Dude, Minnie walked into the bathroom, invaded Chizuru's private space while she's butt-ass naked, and spends most of this staring at her. Even Chizuru is like, what? What do we know about Chizuru? She's uncomfortable with vulnerability. She's uncomfortable with vulnerability. It is hard for her. It is not easy for her, but she is fucking trying. Here's Minnie invading her private space in the most vulnerable way possible. Just like who else? Mommy also invaded Chizuru's private space in the bathroom and literally got in between that. But now Chizuru is actually butt-ass naked. Like, she's not even wearing a bra or a swimsuit or anything. She's literally just butt-ass naked. And she's uncomfortable with that because of how she was burned in Hawaiians. Especially because it's Minnie. Minnie, in a lot of ways, represents Kazuya in this instance. That's what Minnie is. Minnie represents Kazuya's interests. Kazuya's interests are literally in the room with her while she's butt-ass naked. That's scary to her, right? And Kazuya even ends up being jealous of Minnie in the next chapter where he's like, you got to fucking take a bath with her? What the shit? Right? So this is literally, in a lot of ways, Chizuru being with Kazuya in a sense. And that is why Chizuru seems so caught off, because Minnie is literally saying what Kazuya wants, and she's going to relay that to him. So Chizuru doesn't want Minnie to go and relay information to Kazuya. That's why Chizuru is acting like this here. She's just like, okay, I'm not going to open up to Minnie because I don't want her to just go and spout my feelings to him. Because what does Minnie do with Kazuya whenever Kazuya feels fucking anything? Minnie just yells at Chizuru just so she can get them together. Minnie has no sense of awareness that her actions cause these problems. What's the phrase? It's like, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. That's kind of the best way to describe Minnie in a lot of ways, is that she's literally walking into fucking hell because of her own intentions, and it's super fitting. That's literally kind of Minnie. Is this all you think about all day? So what if it is? What's your fucking issue with that? I can think about whatever I goddamn want. So what if it is? What are you gonna do about it? She's not necessarily an extension of Kazuya. It's that she'll tell Kazuya all these things. Minnie is unfortunately trying to be Chizuru's friend, but also being a nuisance. And you can't be both, right? You can't like be Chizuru's friend and then go and tell Kazuya everything. That's why Chizuru doesn't open up to Minnie. That's literally why Chizuru doesn't open up to Minnie. Because Minnie will just go and tell him her personal feelings that she's still figuring the fuck out. Minnie is not a person you can confide in. I'm a scientist. Cool. What does you being a scientist have to do with your question? How do these two things connect? What is that? Anyways, so like literally, Minnie will just go and tell Kazuya. It's her own things that she doesn't want to talk about yet. She wants someone to confide in, not someone to go and tell. Like literally, the way Minnie can be Chizuru's friend is to not go and tell Kazuya. And I think that's going to be the big thing next chapter. Chizuru might not open up to Minnie. Chizuru might not open up to Minnie. So, what happens? Minnie is going to get more pushy. Minnie gets more pushy. Chizuru will tell her, the reason I'm not going to tell you is because you're just going to go and tell him. So I'm not going to tell you anything because I don't want you to go and tell him. Right? I don't want that to happen. And I think that's when Minnie may start to actually be Chizuru's friend. That's going to be the core issue between Chizuru and Minnie next chapter. Minnie going to talk to Kazuya. And I think Chizuru does not want that. Chizuru doesn't want Minnie to go and talk to Kazuya. She doesn't want Minnie to go and do this. And I think that's going to be the core conflict of next chapter. Minnie just leaving Kazuya the hell alone. And letting him make a choice. Not deciding for him. Because Minnie makes decisions for Kazuya in a lot of ways. So I think Minnie just not getting in the way like that is going to be really important and part of Chizuru's choice next chapter. Look, hey man, you can think whatever you want, and if you don't think it's that deep, great, but if you're just going to be here to tell me that I'm wrong and it's not that deep and all that, I will just ban you. I don't care. This isn't a democracy. I don't fucking care. I'm not here for your opinion. If you want to discuss and talk to me, that's fantastic. If you're just here to tell me I'm wrong and it's not that deep and you're some scientist and you're studying love or fucking whatever, good for you. I don't care. I genuinely do not care. So you're welcome to leave. The exit's right there. You don't have to be here. To me, it is that deep. If you don't think it's that deep, cool, this isn't the place for you. Just gonna be straight with you right now. Like, it's either you continue with this nonsense, and eventually I kick you out, and I just don't talk to you ever again, or you get off this topic, or you leave, or whatever your choice is. I'm just telling you how I feel right now. I'm not gonna keep engaging with you if I see this one more time, or if I see this like another time. That's it. Just giving you a warning right now. Okay, so we established this element of Chizuru and Minnie seemingly getting closer and being sisters. Unfortunately, Minnie actually used this very thing against her, right? Minnie did, in fact, actually kind of use this very thing against her, that she knows something that Chizuru wants, and she uses that to keep it a secret, right? She's like, oh yeah, you don't want me to tell him about this, right? Remember, she uses the bra, and she's like, you don't want me to tell him about this, so you'll help me out, right? And Chizuru is just like, wow, okay, right? She played along and she had fun, but Minnie used her, right? And it's a very sister-like thing, but I think this is that Minnie being able to keep a secret there is showing that Minnie is slowly getting to that point. And I think Minnie needs to stop being Kazuya's friend and start being Chizuru's friend. And in being Chizuru's friend, she'll actually let Chizuru open up to her. I think Chizuru would genuinely open up to Minnie if she knew Minnie wasn't gonna fucking go and tell Kazuya. I think that's the biggest thing. If Chizuru knew Minnie wasn't gonna go and tell Kazuya, she would open up to Minnie. She would tell her what she's feeling. Wasn't Minnie the one who told Chizuru that Kazuya loves her as a woman? She's talking too much, haha. And you're banned. Get out of here. Idolizing dictatorship. What the fuck is this nonsense? What the hell are... For someone who claims to be a scientist, this dude has no media literacy. He has no literacy, period. Not media, just literacy. So he'll hear me say, this is my channel, and I don't want to fucking deal with your nonsense. And this is, and I can do what I want with my channel, and he'll interpret that as me idolizing dictatorships. What the shit? What kind of fucking leap in logic is that? One could say that Chizuru made a mistake by letting Minnie live with them. No. I think Minnie living with them was important. But Minnie needs to decide who she's going to be in this family. Right? Minnie needs to decide who she's going to be in this family. She can be Kazuya's friend and she can be Chizuru's friend. But she needs to know when to keep her mouth shut. She needs to know when to not do things. Right? Minnie actively tries to make the plot move. In so doing, she actually hinders it. Minnie is literally the best friend that gets in the way. She's literally the embodiment of the core issue of the expectations of other people in just a really unique way, in that she's literally their friend. She's actually their friend and someone they can kind of confide in. But because she picks one side over the other, what it does is it causes issues for one side and doesn't cause issues for the other. Or even in some ways, like, Kazuya can open up to Minnie, but he becomes over-reliant on her. And Chizuru can't open up to Minnie at all, because Minnie will literally just go and tell Kazuya this stuff. However, Minnie gets to literally physically see Chizuru open, right? She literally physically sees her change and naked, and she sees her in a different way because of that. Because she gets to interact with her physically, Minnie gets to see a different kind of Chizuru. In contrast, she sees Kazuya's emotional vulnerability. So she sees Chizuru physically naked, but she doesn't see Chizuru's emotional vulnerability, contrasted by how she sees Kazuya's emotional vulnerability, but not his physical vulnerability. Literally, the thing Kazuya doesn't tell Minnie about when he goes to the hot pot place. What is the one thing Kazuya can't tell Minnie about when they go to the hot pot place? Let's go find it. It is chapter 325. This is the one thing I really can't tell her. Sex. Kazuya thinking about sex. He can't tell Minnie about this. Right? The one thing Kazuya doesn't open up to Minnie about is visually conveyed to Minnie through Chizuru actually being naked. So Minnie can literally see Chizuru naked, but she cannot see her emotions. In contrast, she constantly sees Kazuya's emotions. Minnie is literally stuck in between the two and doesn't realize how she's actually, like, literally kind of having what they want. Minnie's literally kind of taking their experiences away. Chizuru wants Kazuya's emotional vulnerability. Kazuya wants Chizuru's physical vulnerability. He wants her to touch him, to be close to him. He wants her physically, right? But Chizuru often opens up emotionally to Kazuya. He just doesn't realize it, right? So literally, Minnie's getting to have these experiences that these characters want. In so doing, she's stopping them from having these experiences themselves. However, whenever Minnie is not doing this, whenever Minnie's just kind of being their friend, and she's getting along with them, and she's just kind of there to help out, she's actually a good friend. When Minnie actually bridges them together when she's just being a friend, when she's just hanging out with them. They don't mind her. They don't blame her for any of this, right? But Minnie is doing this. Minnie does cause trouble. She's literally chaos. Right? Minnie is a good thing and a bad thing. She's literally both. And I think Minnie recognizing that in herself will help her change into a person she can be more comfortable with. Right? Realize that she can have what she wants in a way. That's why Minnie is the flip of Mommy. Minnie is actually their friend, but she also gets in the way. Mommy is not their friend, and causes chaos, even though she actually wants to be with them, right? He didn't want her to tell Chizuru that he loves her. And what did Minnie do? What did Minnie do? Right? When Kazuya confided how much he loves Chizuru, what did Minnie do? She went and told Chizuru, right? And that literally planted Chizuru's doubts about Kazuya's feelings, only for it to eventually come true in the end, right? So what Minnie is thinking does inevitably come true. She's right. It's just that how she approaches it causes problems, right? But what she's saying is true. In a lot of ways, the best way I can describe this arc and the date and the current arc we're currently in is that it's a flip from the 99 lies that hide the truth. This is the truth hiding the lies. The cohabitation, the investigation, and the date, as well as just Minnie in general, is the truth hiding the lies. She literally presents a truth, but that truth is hiding the actual feelings that are that like what's going on. The truth creates lies. Ironically, like this is the truth that creates lies. Maybe rather than hiding the lies, maybe it's creating the lies. Right? It basically the place of lies and truth is flipped because of how the characters perceive truth. In so doing, that truth loses its meaning. Now that truth becomes a lie, because it's not the actual truth behind everything. Literally, the meaning of truth is creating lies now, and I think that's so fascinating as an idea. Do you think Minnie could pull something like Akemi and Maison Ikkoku, making Kyoko jealous on purpose? Minnie tried that, and it somewhat worked. Minnie and Chizuru does get jealous. Like, Minnie already makes Chizuru jealous without even realizing she's doing this. Whenever she's hanging out with Kazuya, Chizuru is jealous. Whenever Minnie is with Kazuya, Chizuru gets jealous. And like, literally, like, Chizuru's always jealous when Minnie pulls this shit. And I think in that sense, like, it's ironic that Minnie is freaked out by Umi because she's kind of doing the Umi thing. But here, let's find it. 320 and 326, right after Kazuya hangs out with Minnie and talks to Chizuru, Kazuya tells her she's probably at a friend's place. That's what she said yesterday. Yeah, we ate together yesterday. She goes to the bathroom and she texts Minnie. What were you guys talking about behind my back, huh? Right? And Minnie might actually tell her. But Chizuru feels stupid because this stems from jealousy. And she's like, this is stupid. This is so stupid that I feel this way, but it's not. Right? It's not stupid that you feel this way. It's not stupid that you're jealous that the guy you like is seemingly hanging out with another girl instead of hanging out with you. Right? Like, Minnie is just a friend. But at the same time, Minnie's getting these experiences with him instead of Chizuru. Minnie's literally taking the experiences Chizuru wants. And this is literally a direct nod to the 3-month time skip. Why is Chizuru not saying what she's feeling? Because she thinks her feelings are not good enough, that they're stupid, that what she desires is bad. Right? You're already getting pieces of information as to why the 3-month time skip happened. And it's really sad to me that people only see that Chizuru did something bad there, not why it happened in the first place. That, like, people literally kept telling her she's a fucking awful human being for even interacting with Kazuya, and it made her doubt her own feelings. And she felt so guilty she didn't want to rob Ruka of her love that she feels is more genuine than hers because Chizuru feels physical desire for Kazuya. Like I said, we already saw a parallel of this, right? We already saw a parallel where Kazuya and Chizuru say the exact same fucking words. And you're like, oh, that's what Chizuru was feeling then. And and literally mommy calls her a whore and she feels the need to keep that down. Stop herself from feeling and acting or doing anything because she's a bad person for this. And literally the guilt consumes her because Chizuru feels her love is overflowing. She wants to be with him. Her barriers are down, but she can't be with him. She keeps getting told she's not allowed to be. So what does Chizuru do? She goes back to her role. My role is a rental girlfriend. My role is this. My role is that. And this creates a massive illusion of what truth is. Is Kazuya in love with Chizuru Mizuhara? This is an illusion because Chizuru Mizuhara is actually more true to Chizuru than Ichinose, which is probably a baffling statement for some people, but it is, because Mizuhara is how Chizuru actually expresses herself. Whereas when she's Ichinose, she actively puts up a wall. Mizuhara is the truth underneath the 99 lies. Because when she's Mizuhara, she actually gets to express herself. Think about it for a second. Whenever she's Ichinose, she wears glasses, she braids her hair, she wears big sweaters, and she wears jeans. Whenever she's Mizuhara, she wears like more fancy tops, her hair is down, she doesn't wear glasses, she wears a nice skirt, she completely expresses herself. This is the illusion of which one is real and which one is fake. When reality, when she's asking this question, she doesn't realize Mizuhara is more true to who she actually is than Ichinose. Because when she's Ichinose, it's really hard to express herself truthfully because now she's completely vulnerable. And when you're completely vulnerable, you have to act in some way. You put on some sort of act, some sort of mask. And it's hard for you to be your realest self. In so doing, the truth of who you are creates lies. That's just the nature of the thing. It's very hard to be your most authentic self, and that illusion is part of Chizuru's struggle. That illusion is part the idea of just being accepted. The reason Chizuru Ichinose doesn't show herself that much because Chizuru Ichinose is afraid of not being accepted. But when that fear is gone, when she's Mizuhara, that fear is gone, right? It's all behind the act. It's all behind a lie. So the truth can come out. That's why Kazuya and Chizuru, the best way I can show it to you. The best way I can show it to you. And I think I've mentioned this one before. The cheer up date, in some ways, is a lot more authentic than the current date. Because they actually really get to express themselves. Because they're doing it behind the barrier of rental. So their honest self gets to come out because there is a wall. Just like the texting chapter. Literally just like the texting chapter. Because of the texting chapter, they get to be their most honest self because they're not actually looking directly at the person. They're just texting them. Right? These walls and barriers and lies actually allow us a sense of comfortability to be our most honest selves. Right? She can hold his hand like this. She can feel this, and she can create this emotional, physical intimacy that she feels around him because it's under the disguise of rental. And rental allows her to be her realest self. She gets to break out of this because all barriers are gone because it's rental. She doesn't even think about it. She just does. And then she tries to go back to her role, even though she expressed her most honest self here. Right? Chizuru's most honest self comes out when there is no sense of judgment and it's just the feeling. It's literally just the feeling. There's no act. There's nothing. That's your realest self. When you're just genuinely happy and you're just genuinely letting these feelings out. And Chizuru feels that through films, through moments where she can't help but let the feeling out. Right? But these moments were created as a byproduct of Mizuhara. Right? These moments were created as a byproduct of the lie. And so Reiji intentionally wants us to compare and contrast the rental date that is the cheer-up date, because literally one of the first things they do is hold hands. Chizuru has the stone face, but she wanted to hold his hand. And yet here she is, seemingly smiling. Right? She acts stone-faced, but there's a lot of expression here. She's literally expressing herself underneath the stone face. The stone face allows her comfortability, right? It's pretty much, like, the best way I can put it is that this is like the illusion of truth. The illusion of what you understand to be true. Many suggested Chizuru to cohabitate with Kazuya. Chizuru added her to the mix because she wasn't comfortable alone with Kazuya. Not because she wasn't comfortable alone with Kazuya, because because she thought Kazuya wasn't comfortable enough with her. Because Kazuya kept thinking he was going to worry her or cause her trouble. That's why Chizuru included Minnie. We went through this. I have to cut these up so I can show you what I'm talking about. Chizuru literally thought, like Kazuya kept telling her, I can't live with you. I would cause you trouble. When they were talking in the izakaya, Minnie literally does this then too. She spits out Kazuya's feelings and Kazuya denies them because Minnie just put them out there. So Kazuya kept denying that he wanted to live with her, even though that's why Chizuru was there. She wanted to ask him to live with her. So, because Kazuya keeps denying it, Chizuru has to create a bunch of safety nets for Kazuya so he doesn't feel like he's a burden or he's causing any problems. This is very important. Kazuya thinks he's causing problems, and so he's not doing this because he wants to. He's doing this because he needs to or have to, right? He needs to live with her because he was running low on money. He needs to live with her because he doesn't have a place right now, and he's kind of in a tight spot. Minnie needs to live with them so he can be comfortable. All of the entirety of the cohabitation is created around the idea of needing to, not wanting to. However, Chizuru really wants him to stay. So she creates the need so he can stay. Because he refuses to stay unless she creates the need. Basically, that lie, right, of needing to stay allowed her to create the scenario so he could stay. Because he wouldn't stay otherwise. And she's afraid to tell him what she really feels because she doesn't want to get his hopes up and mislead him. She doesn't want to mislead him. So she doesn't want to tell him how she really feels because that would give him the wrong impression. And slowly she gets more comfortable with opening up and telling him how she really feels. Slowly she gets there. Slowly she starts opening up. Chizuru's struggle to say what she really feels stems from her fear of being accepted. That what she feels is bad. So therefore, what if he hates her for this? It's literally a mirror of Kazuya. What is Kazuya constantly afraid of when they started living together? What is Kazuya constantly afraid of? That she may hate him, that she may not like him, that she won't like his bad side. So, she feels the same exact thing. She feels the same exact way. And that illusion was slowly getting removed, but Minnie reinforces it because of her presence, because of what she means, because of what she creates. Minnie both breaks the illusion and actively reinforces it. It's a literal deconstruction of how misunderstandings even occur. It's like, how do these things happen? What makes them happen? What is the source of them? It's literally Reiji kind of hitting exactly at the source of the problem. So he can literally flip it and show you what you're not seeing. Intentionally so. Does the contrast apply? If you remember when she offered him to stay at her house, she just added Minnie is staying and Minnie agreed on the spot. Yeah. Doesn't that contrast apply to Ruka and Chizuru? Chizuru sees Ruka express her feelings, feels inferior for not doing the same, and wonders if she really loves Kazuya since she isn't vocal. That's the illusion of the problem. That's the illusion of the problem, but it also kind of matches that too, right? Chizuru isn't very vocal. Chizuru has the stone phase. Chizuru struggles to let her feelings out because she's afraid of being accepted, right? Or she's afraid of being rejected. She's afraid of being rejected and hated. So Chizuru doesn't let that out. Ruka can just let that out. So to Chizuru, what that means to Chizuru is that because Ruka can just do that, she's so in love, her love outshines her fear. Literally what Minnie said. She's so in love, her love outshines her fear. And Chizuru actively, consistently tries to reach that point in the date. Consistently, Chizuru tries to reach that point in the day where she's trying super hard to not be afraid and to make scary choices. To make that choice that scares the shit out of her. That she's trying to let herself just be vulnerable and let herself out. Ironic, considering Kazuya doesn't do this. Kazuya doesn't actually show himself. Kazuya actively hides himself, right? And because Kazuya doesn't express himself, that his love doesn't seemingly outshine his fear in some of these instances, maybe Chizuru thinks, like literally, basically, Chizuru's mind is kind of jumbled up in the date. So the reason you can't quite pin down what the issue is with the date is because just as Kazuya's mind is currently jumbled up and he doesn't fully understand everything, Chizuru's mind is jumbled up and she doesn't fully understand everything because she doesn't really see what the issue is. That all she really wanted in reality was just to be accepted. And once she's accepted, once she shows her weakest self to him and he accepts her, she starts really letting herself out. And the mask is now means something else. The stone face, the wall of steel, actually means something else now. Right? The meaning of the wall of steel or the face or the Iron Lady, that actually means something else now. Rather, it's how Chizuru is not letting these feelings out until given permission to, right? Until he says what he wants. When he says what he wants, now she'll let them out. But she wants to let him make that choice, right? It all comes back to that idea of choices. Funny because at first Kazuya calls her out for not being authentic and putting on a fake appearance, but fails to recognize her true nature later on in the story when she shows it all to him, only to him. But at first, I mean in the beginning of the story. It's not quite that simple. Kazuya doesn't see this stuff because of that illusion that I've been describing. Kazuya doesn't see that stuff because of that illusion I've been describing. Because Minnie reinforces that illusion to him. Because certain things reinforce that illusion to him to reflect his own fear. That's why Kazuya doesn't see it. It's not Kazuya doesn't see it, it's that his own fear, or the fear created as a byproduct of his fear of rejection, or the feeling that he's going to fail the investigation, or the byproduct of, wanting to confess but thinking he's going to get rejected like mommy or something like that, or thinking he's not good enough. All these self-perceptions and POV of who you are blind you to what's right in front of you. And that's why when Chizuru kisses Kazuya, his eyes are open and her eyes are closed. She said, I'm going to stop looking. I'm going to stop looking for patterns. And I'm just going to let it go and show myself. Kazuya, in contrast, actually has his eyes open and he sees what's in front of him now. He's actually seeing the thing he wasn't seeing earlier. His eyes are open now. So that's the important part here. And I think that's the idea, is that Kazuya stopped looking with the element of rejection and fear and started just seeing Chizuru in that moment. And literally right now, he's having that clash again. Right now in the current chapter, that's what's going on. He's having that clash again between her rejecting him and her seemingly accepting him when she kissed him. And now Kazuya has to make a choice. Which one does he pick? What does he pick? Does he stick with the fear that she rejected him, or does he accept that she just kissed him and goes and asks for more information and say what he wants? Right? What does he want? That's the question that's being posed to Kazuya. What is your choice? Do you pick the rejection or do you pick the kiss? Right? Now the natural answer is go get some answers on the kiss. But the big thing that's in front of us is the questions. We're not getting answers. We have a lot of questions and no answers. So you need to go get some fucking answers, right? You have two contradicting things happening here. Get some clarity. Right? Kazuya's big issue here, he needs to get some clarity. I wrote something for someone that I'll read shortly, but let me read some of the other comments. I thought she was there to give him compensation for helping her move all that stuff. When she showed up, no, that was an excuse. That was an excuse. When she showed up to pay him, that wasn't her purpose. That wasn't her reason there. That wasn't why she came. She did not come there to pay him. Right? That was just a given. Him helping her, that was just a given. But if she didn't have a reason to be there, she could use that as a reason. And even then, she hangs out and sticks with them. Maybe a part of her wanted to pay him back, right? But later in the story, in chapter 274, Chizuru asks Kazuya to help her move shit, and she doesn't pay him anything. Right? She doesn't pay him anything. But she feels bad because something happens and she feels bad about that. So literally, the reason Chizuru came back with the money is because she feels she owes him for helping. She feels like she owes him money. So she tries to give him money. That's why she brings that money. That wasn't her real reasoning for being there. I didn't know she came to the izakaya with the intention to invite him to her house. That's what she wanted. Here, you want me to prove it to you? It's very easy to fucking prove it to you. It's so goddamn easy. Why don't you two try living together or something? Notice how we focus a lot on Kazuya, but the moment we turn to Chizuru, Minnie just said exactly what she wanted. She freaked the fuck out. How did she know? How the hell does she know? How did she fucking know? Chizuru freaked the fuck out because Minnie literally said what she was thinking. Straight up. Minnie literally just said exactly what she was thinking. Minnie did it to both of them. Minnie kept throwing Kazuya's feelings out there, not realizing she also threw Chizuru's feelings out there. So what does Chizuru do? Takes a drink of water. I'm good. Deep breath, right? The blushing stops. She's back to normal. Well, that's certainly Minnie-chan's idea, isn't it? Don't be absurd. It's not your idea. It's not your choice. It is hers. You don't want that, right? You don't want to live with me. You don't want that. That's Minnie's idea. But she wants Kazuya to say it. Right? She wants Kazuya to say, it's mine. That's what I want. Every single thing always comes back to this. What does Kazuya want? It always consistently comes back to this. She just looks super shy to me. Exactly. But why does she deny it with her eyes closed? Why is she super sided here? Why would she freak out about this? Right? Your immediate assumption is that, oh, she's just scared about that. Except, what did we see earlier? Reiji shows us Kazuya literally in his home, and he feels like he doesn't belong. I guess there's no place for me in this room anymore. We go to Chizuru. She has a home, but she's all alone. She pulls up her phone. Who's the first person she sees on her phone? Kazuya. She wants to call him. She wants him to be here. But she puts the phone down. She can't ask. She's not allowed to ask. She can't ask him for any more. She's not right? She took his money for rental. She said she's investigating. She had him help out clean her place. She can't ask him to live with her. That's demanding too much, right? Even though he loves her, that's demanding too much, right? It's the illusion that Chizuru is asking too much. What happens during the date? Chizuru says, I have all these other things. I considering my job. Let's reframe the considering my job now. So a lot of people love to use this line when she turns him down. She says, considering my job. A lot of people love to use this line to justify, Chizuru picked her job over him. I'm going to flip that meaning now. Considering my current lifestyle, my work, and everything else, I just don't think this is something I can jump into right now. Considering my current lifestyle and everything else, I'm causing you too much trouble. I'm causing you trouble. You should hate me. She's not saying I'm picking my job over you. It's the opposite. She's saying my job is too much. I'm causing you too much trouble. I'm asking too much. What I want is too much. And this all stems from the physical desire Chizuru feels for him. From the want to be with him physically. The fact that she takes him to a romantic spot where they should kiss and make out. Because her friends literally said, if you go out drinking with a guy, you should expect something to happen. And Chizuru literally told them, I would be your girlfriend. She says all this, and what does Kazuya do? He walks away. He confirmed all of Chizuru's fears. When Kazuya walked away here, it's literally Chizuru's fears that she was going to be rejected, that she wasn't going to be accepted by him, that her desire to want to touch him physically was never going to be accepted by him. This is Chizuru just deeply afraid, so fucking terrified that she'll never be accepted, that what she's asking is too much, that Kazuya is too good, Kazuya is too kind, what she wants is too much. That's why when she's walking home, when they're walking home, what does Chizuru say? If I were you, I'd hate someone like me. All I've done is hurt you. I'm just a terrible fucking person. Because she hates herself, because she thinks she wants too much. She thinks what she desires is too much. She hates herself. And what does Kazuya say? I believe in you. I'm going to keep believing you. I don't think I'll love anyone more than I love you, despite what you just did. Despite what just happened. He meets her with acceptance. He never even considers rejection. The rejection was an illusion. So she says, no, you can't, right? But that's just an illusion. The no is an illusion. She says no so she can hear yes. She keeps saying no because that's everything she's understood up until this point is no. Right? You're supposed to be happy. Right? It's rejection and acceptance clashing with each other constantly. He meets her with acceptance. She struggles to accept herself, but he keeps accepting her anyway. Right? No matter what she says, he keeps accepting her. So she chooses to finally accept herself and that what she's asking isn't too much. What Chizuru is asking isn't too much. So she takes a leap of faith and she kisses him. That's why it's trust. When Chizuru chooses to kiss him in the very end, it is trust. I'm going to have faith in him. I'm going to have complete faith in him. Just like he has complete faith in me. I'm going to take a risk. I'm going to kiss him. And I'm going to have faith that he will come back and he will still choose to accept me for everything that I'm feeling and wanting. That despite everything that just happened, I have faith he'll come back. I trust him completely. This is Chizuru saying, I trust you. That I'm not asking too much. That what I want isn't too much. But she's still a little afraid. She still doubts herself a little bit. When she looks back at the kiss, she's thinking, I really did it there. I really let it out. I really showed myself there. Like, damn, that was wow. I'm feeling a lot. Holy shit! I finally let it out. Maybe she even wants more here, right? Maybe Chizuru desires more. Maybe she's not even actually sad here. Our immediate assumption when we look at this is we think she's sad. Maybe she's not sad. Yeah, when she looks at the room, she seemingly misses him. But she doesn't react. She's almost looking for his presence. She wants to feel his presence again. So let's dig a little deeper into that. She wants to feel his presence again. She wants to do that again. She literally wants to kiss him again. She's already thinking about that. She's not sad. She wants to do that again. She already wants to do that again. That's what this face is showing. She's hidden in shadow because it's hiding her desire. She wants to kiss him again. She wants to be with him again. When she goes to his room and he's not there, you don't see sadness. She's not sad here. She's just looking. It's his room. He's there. Maybe she smells him. Maybe she senses his presence, right? She feels him and she thinks about the kiss and she wants it again. And then who walks through the door? Minnie, not Kazuya, right? And Chizuru just, again, doesn't have an expression. This is all coming back to Chizuru wanting acceptance. That she wants isn't too much. She's not a bad person. That's why, when she kisses him, how does it happen? When does it happen? It doesn't happen when they're all dressed up, when they're all fancy. It doesn't happen in a magic perfect place. It happens when they're at home, dressed down in their hoodies, literally just wearing just normal ass clothes like they have been this entire arc, And that's when Chizuru shows herself, because this is Chizuru's normal. Not Chizuru in the date is not Chizuru's normal. That's not her usual self. Because Chizuru's normal is what Chizuru seeks to be accepted as. Right? And this is ironically supposed to be a flip of how she's dressed in the date. In the date, she's wearing like a lighter hue of purple that borders on blue. A lot of her outfit feels very blue. And she's supposed to be her realest self. And here she is at home. And of course, her hair's tied up. She's wearing boots. She's wearing short shorts. Here, how is she dressed? Everything about her is a lot more loose, isn't it? It's not, the outfit isn't tight, right? The big thing we can recognize is that the outfit she wears in the date is very tight, very form-fitting. Here, the outfit isn't, actually. It's very loose. It's her cat hoodie. It's loose. It's a red hoodie. She's wearing her skirt. She's wearing leggings, and she's wearing Crocs. And her hair is down. Her hair isn't up. If anything, ironically, she looks closer to Mizuhara here, rather than she does Ichinose. Whereas when she's Ichinose, right, it's an illusion. There's literally contradictions in how she's presented. It's a little, here, hold on a sec. It's literally this. It's straight up this. And what I mean by that is that when she's Ichinose, she's wearing red, but the background is blue. When she's Mizuhara, she's wearing blue, but the background is red. It literally, what it's saying is that it's reversed. It's reversed. The real her is actually expressed through Mizuhara. Right, the real her is more expressed through Mizuhara than it is through Ichinose. And ironically, when she's at home and he literally says Mizuhara, he calls her Mizuhara, right? She's her most truest self. That's the irony of the Ichinose Mizuhara debate, is that Mizuhara is the more true version of herself. Despite being dressed in red, despite being seemingly more Ichinose here, it actually contrasts how she looks as Ichinose during the date, which feels more like Mizuhara in some ways. Despite that date seemingly being a combination of the two. It's literally Chizuru struggling with like Mizuhara, Ichinose, and the person underneath. Or you could say something like she's struggling between the ego, the superego, or the id, or you can say she's struggling between the adult, the parent, and the child. Literally, it fluctuates between these ideas and literally trying to find a balance of who you actually are. When in reality, all you want is acceptance, and none of that matters. Your truest self is just what you want. Your truest, more honest self isn't masks or any of that stuff. It's just what you want. It's where everything just disappears and you essentially just become you. This is why I kind of said like what Chizuru experienced. Like I wrote somewhere that I thought what Chizuru experienced here was kind of like akin to ego death, where basically your sense of self dissolves and you just find your new you and who you could be, right? But rather, I think what happened here is rather than the ego death, or ego dissolution, sorry, let me go back to this. Rather than ego death or ego dissolution, rather it's complete self-acceptance. Rather, Chizuru's reached self-acceptance here. She's so self-assured in this scene that's why she never reacts, because she never doubts herself. Chizuru feels a lot more self-assured here. A lot more certain of her choices and her actions. That to me feels like what happened here. Chizuru has reached like genuine self-acceptance here. In contrast to before, where she was kind of like really kind of stuck. Kazuya fucked up with the lack of content. That was a huge mistake, even though she was so beautiful. Kazuya's lack of action makes her feel very rejected. It's not simply Kazuya's lack of action. There's layers to this. There's layers to this. In a lot of ways, Chizuru is seeing what she wants to see. That's the illusion of the date. You're seeing what you want to see. not what's actually happening. Because your own perception creates illusions. When I was talking about the what is it? When I was talking about the practice state with Minnie, I referenced how during the practice state with Minnie, Reiji made a few references. For instance, here, let's go to some of them. Chapter 325, we were reading that earlier. This chapter starts with a fox. As Kazuya and Minnie leave the place, we find out this fox is a kitsune. Kitsune foxes create illusions. They are literally trickster foxes that create illusions. When Kazuya and Minnie go to their practice state in chapter 333 or 334, let me make sure I got the correct one. Maybe it's... I might be off. Maybe it's 334. I don't remember where it was, but basically, there's a part where Minnie starts singing a song. The song is from a place called Quixote, which is a direct reference to Don Quixote. Don Quixote is literally a story about illusions, where a dude literally imagines the world as he wants to see it, not as it actually is. In so doing, the person who's with him, who is a pragmatist and a realist, also eventually starts believing in this world. This matches how Minnie literally calls Kazuya a hero. He is the hero, and she is the healer healing him and supporting him. She literally starts to believe this fantasy that Kazuya is the hero of this story. Just as right now, Minnie is acting like she's Oda Nobunaga. She's literally it's in a fantasy, trapped in this idea that she is Oda Nobunaga. She's the great unifier. She's gonna fix all this. When that's not her role. That's not what Minnie is. Minnie is not here to fix this. Minnie can't fix everything. She can't magically bring them together. That's just an illusion. It's just a trap, and Minnie needs to get out of this illusion. She needs to see what's right in front of her. In that same way, another big one that we can immediately see that plays directly into this theme of illusions is what? Chapter 364, right? Chapter 364 is another one of those chapters that deals with this element of illusion, because how does the chapter start? It starts with this. This is the Trick Art Museum in Japan, a place that creates illusions from perspective. Your own perspective is creating illusions for you. It's not simply that Kazuya was doing things wrong. It's that Chizuru was in some ways seeing what she wanted to see, just as what Kazuya was seeing was what he wanted to see. They validated their own perspective because of their own perception, and in some ways made that very thing come true. That was the idea. They made those very things come true in their own perspectives and illusions. And by the end of it, when they were their most honest selves and they walked back together, they broke that illusion because there's no more barriers. Everything that you're as vulnerable as you can be. You're weak. You can't do anything. All you can do is keep walking forward. And as they're walking forward, they start to say what they really feel, what they were most afraid of in this entire date this whole time. And Kazuya still meets her with acceptance. In so doing, Chizuru's illusion breaks. Kazuya's illusion, the fear of rejection, his illusion breaks. The thing is, I think neither of them fucked up more than the other. I think they both fucked up equally. Both Kazuya and Chizuru in this state fucked up equally because they were both trapped in their own illusions. Kazuya did stuff wrong, so did Chizuru. But they broke the illusion in the end. And now it's about making a choice. Okay, you've seen the illusion and you've seen reality. Which one do you want? Right? You've seen what's fake and you've seen what's real. Pick one. Right? You have to learn to recognize what is real and what is not. Literally, that's where Kazuya is right now. He is about to break. He is in that situation where he has to choose what is the illusion and what is reality. What is your choice? Where do you want to live? Do you want to live in a lie or do you want to live in reality? Because that is what rental is in a lot of ways. That's the question of rental. That's Chizuru's big question, trying to find what's real and what's fiction. And she found what's real, and she showed him what she thinks is real. And now it's about a choice. Here, this cover is literally that. Chizuru is seemingly posing here. But this is all an illusion. Chizuru is literally acting. In a lot of ways, Chizuru acting here has a double meaning. It's both our illusion, based on our own perception of what's going on. Oh no, Chizuru's trapped underneath this thing. You could and then there's another layer to it. Chizuru is trapped in a glass. Like, she's literally trapped in the illusion of a glass. That is also true. And yet Chizuru is also acting. There's literally three meanings to this. One is our illusion, one is Chizuru's illusion, and two, it's the illusion that Chizuru is under an illusion. Literally three different fucking meanings to this. And that's by design. Because it's literally, it's about perception and reality. How do you shape your understanding of truth? How do you shape that understanding? How do you understand the reality around you? And that's why Reiji actively references perception and illusions, because reality is an illusion, right? Reality is a big fucking dream, a big fucking fantasy, and you have to figure out what's real and what's not. And in a time like this one where it's so fucking difficult to understand what's real and what's not, whether it be because of political shit, whether it be because of the news, the media, or what people tell you, or what people say, or the expectations people put on you, or just literally everything you seemingly understand could be fiction and it could be real. And it's the subjective nature of how we understand the world. The only true thing in reality is us connecting to each other. That's the only real thing. Your choice to connect to someone else, right? Your choices are, in a lot of ways, what's real. Your experiences, your memories. Even if your memories are built from fiction, the experience itself is real, right? Just as this date is both seemingly fictional and not the realist and not real, the experience that they got out of it was real, right? So, literally what Kazuya says in chapter 384, right? The end of what Kazuya says in chapter 384 encapsulates this. She seemed really troubled. She asked those serious questions to Ziopolis and put up with the blister. That's proof she's really thinking about the two of us. Besides, after every single thing we experienced, all I can remember is the smile on your face. That's what mattered to me in the end. That she was smiling. That smile on her face. That was real to him. Contrasted by this illusion that she's normal now. Reality and fiction. Illusions versus truth. Right? Recognizing what's actually in front of you, or being trapped in the illusion that someone is the Iron Lady, that someone is acting normal, that someone appears a certain way. How you appear creates the very illusion you want to see, right? And that's pretty much Kazuya right now, breaking out of the illusion. This is that Chizuru seemingly broke out of the illusion. Kazuya is now in the position to break out of his illusion, right? He helped her break out of her illusion. Now she's helping him break out of his. And Minnie is the ultimate illusion maker. Minnie is the illusion. Minnie is the one who created all these fucking illusions. Minnie is the one proclaiming she's back in her castle when this is a rundown shed. Minnie is the creator of illusions. So naturally, Minnie is the final boss. That's the point. You're facing the ultimate illusion. You're facing the person most trapped in an illusion. Minnie is the one who is truly trapped in an illusion here. right? In a lot of ways, you could argue that while Kazuya is supposed to be Don Quixote, the person who dreams and imagines this crazy world, while Minnie is Sancho, the pragmatist, who's the realist and sees the world around him and becomes a dreamer. In reality, it's the reverse. Minnie is Don Quixote, and Kazuya is Sancho. Kazuya is the one who's actually a pragmatist and seeing the world around him and not actually trapped in a dream, but chooses to believe in a dream by the end. In contrast to Minnie, who keeps on dreaming and dreaming and dreaming and dreaming and dreaming until eventually the world is going to hit her too hard and she's going to stop dreaming and start seeing the reality around her. Don Quixote, by the end of the story, dies and gives up on his dream. What is shared between Don Quixote dying in the end of the story and Oda Nobunaga? Oda Nobunaga never saw Japan united. He died before that. There's already a parallel. Yeah. So Minnie is going to have to drop this idea, this dream of what she believes Kazuya is, of what Kazuya being a hero, of Kazuya being some magical person, of these two characters being together and making her dream come true. That dream needs to end, right? And that's the whole idea. You need to stop living in dreams and fantasy and live in reality, because reality is that dream, right? The dream is already here, but you're so busy looking at something else, you're not seeing it, right? Your dreams are already here in reality. You're already in a story, but you need to stop living in the dream, right? Living in a dream world and live here now. Open your eyes. The dream is already here. Open your eyes. So when Chizuru kills Kazuya in last chapter, like you can see it right here, Chizuru's eyes are closed and Kazuya's eyes are open. Chizuru finally chooses to dream. The pragmatist finally chooses to dream, right? Whereas the dreamer finally sees reality. They balance each other out, right? Kazuya is finally living in reality and seeing the person in front of him. Chizuru is finally letting herself dream, just live in that fantasy, and that's okay. But you can't. Minnie is the ultimate illusion that needs to go away. She needs to live in reality too, right? Minnie is also stuck in a dream, and she needs to exist in this reality and see what's in front of her. She needs to open her eyes. Chizuru's eyes are open, Minnie's eyes are closed. She needs to open her eyes. She needs to see what's in front of her. She's trapped in a fucking illusion. And that illusion is that she's the great unifier. She's going to get them together. She's some magical, amazing person who's going to solve all of this when she's not. Right? And I don't know if that's exactly how Minnie will handle it next chapter, but that's the idea. It's like Minnie in a lot of ways needs to know what her role in her life and their life is. Minnie doesn't see her own role. Minnie is so busy playing a role, she doesn't see what her actual role is, right? And that's super fitting, considering what does Chizuru tell Kazuya? She tells him Minnie is going to help her take down the curtain, so she doesn't burden him with anything. But she can take down the curtain on her own. She doesn't need Minnie. Just as she doesn't need Minnie to get them together. Chizuru doesn't need Minnie to get them together. She can do it on her own. I don't need Minnie. That's not Minnie's role. Minnie's role is not to be the great unifier. She's not the person who's going to bring all of this together. That's not Minnie's role. Minnie's role is to be a friend and to help out. Minnie's role is to be there for her family and her friends when they need her, not to go and try to play matchmaker, right? That's Minnie's problem. She's so busy playing matchmaker, she's not being their friend. She's not considering them. She's not thinking about what they're feeling. She's not actually helping them out. And you see this when they're on her birthday. What does Minnie do on her birthday? They play Twister. And what does Minnie do when they're playing Twister? She's literally trying to force them to get closer to each other physically, right? And she forces them so close that you can literally feel the sexual tension between them. And then Chizuru just gives up. Huh. They got so close, and Chizuru gives up. Just as they got super close in the date, and Chizuru, guess what? She rejected him in the end because she felt like she wasn't good enough. Almost like Minnie fucking created this entire scenario without even realizing she was doing this because she kept playing matchmaker. That's Minnie's biggest fucking illusion. That's Minnie's biggest fucking illusion. She needs to stop dreaming and start living in reality. And that is Chizuru's role. That is Chizuru's role here. She needs to bring Minnie back, ground her. What is Chizuru doing throughout most of the cohabitation? Kazuya goes off somewhere else. He feels like he's far away from her, but she's literally standing in front of him. And what does she do? She brings him back. Hey, come back. I'm here. I'm right here. She actively does this throughout the entire cohabitation. Kazuya keeps feeling like there's a distance between them. And then she literally brings him back. She's like, no, there's no distance. I'm right here. You can see me. I'm right here. She grounds him. Right? Kazuya keeps getting trapped in the fantasy and illusion Minnie keeps creating. Like, for instance, a good one is the bath chapter. Let's go to the bath chapter. So Kazuya is gonna... Kazuya moves in with Chizuru, and Chizuru asks him about taking a bath. Kazuya gets home, and he's super excited. His heart is about to burst. Who walks in? Minnie. Right before. Please go on. Go on with what? Oh, but it's only natural. If I were to go into the same bath as my favorite, my brain would have been fried from the break of dawn. We're living together. That's just how things are. Do you hear yourself? If you're able to accept the situation, it'll be on track with the development outlined for this arc. Development. Interesting. Every time she says this, her eyes are closed. I'm used to living with other people, and living with someone like Mizuhara-san is just like, it's like I'm in paradise. Paradise? Huh. Kazuya should be in paradise. He should be having developments after this. She really has her act together, you know? She doesn't snack in bed, doesn't sleep in weird positions, wakes up to the first alarm. In fact, she'd at least snore. I'd have a reason to doubt she's some kind of android. She's an android. Development should be happening. And I'm living in paradise. That's just Mizu usual. That's just Mizuhara's usual. She's seen her underwear. But well, if she were an android, she'd be short-circuiting in the bath right about now. Anyway, I intend to gather information to prove the cohabitation isn't just a simple AI-generated compromise. Your love isn't science fiction, it's reality. Look at this. Your love isn't science fiction, it's reality. This is true. But all Kazuya sees is doubt. While you're in the bath, don't get carried away. Chizuru's freaking out about it too. His brain gets fried. Literally like Minnie said. His brain literally gets fried, straight up like Minnie said. Then he steps out of the shower. Chizuru's right there. Oh, here's an interesting line. Oh, you were there. This is my home, you know. Demon King of the Sixth Heaven, Minnie Oda, has returned to her castle. This is my home, you know. Minnie asks, Master, did you enjoy the bath? Not Chizuru, Minnie. Yeah, I did. But Chizuru answers, I see, that's great. Kazuya has no face. He's blank. Chizuru's eyes are closed. She doesn't see. I've been thinking that about the same. Let's continue here. Who would have thought I'd be using the same bath as someone like Mizuhara? But what's this weird feeling? I've been thinking that using the same bath is something you do once you start dating. I've been thinking of it like a fairy tale, a pipe dream. But Mizuhara is the same Mizuhara. Even if we use the same bath, it doesn't mean anything changes. She feels distant. She's right there. What distance? You see what happened here? Fairy tale. Dreams. Right? Kazuya is under the illusion that, this isn't reality. Your love isn't science fiction, it's reality. My love is fiction. It's not real. When Minnie calls her an android, when Minnie says, I'm in paradise, when Minnie says, developments should be happening for this arc, whenever Minnie says this stuff, she warps Kazuya's reality and creates illusions. She gives him these insane expectations that counter what he understands, right? I got to experience this thing that I considered a fairy tale or a pipe dream, but it doesn't feel real. Nothing changed. It all feels the same, but shouldn't that mean it's a good thing that it didn't change? That you're still you? That, like, nothing major was gonna happen? Minnie keeps putting the illusion that because something like this is happening, something big should change. But nothing is changing. In a lot of ways, this kind of aligns with this element of sex. That you create this illusion in your head that after you have sex, the world is going to be some magical, different place. But it's not. You're just going to have this new experience that is going to feel magical, but you're still, everything's seemingly going to be similar. It's not going to be different. And this matches Chizuru here. She's not different, right? Everything did change, but she's not magically some different person. She's still Chizuru. And Chizuru can have a blank expression sometimes, right? Chizuru can have that Iron Lady expression sometimes. That's just Chizuru. So why should she be anybody else but herself? Why should Chizuru need to act differently just because of what happened? He accepted her. He accepted all of Chizuru, so why does she need to act different? Why should Chizuru need to be a different person here? Because nothing needs to change. She doesn't change because nothing needs to change. What they have is good. Right? And in so doing, what this highlights is that everything has changed. You just need to fucking open your eyes and see how different it is. But she herself doesn't need to be a different person. In a lot of ways, think of this like the night after. This is like the night after. Like the characters seemingly just had sex, but one of them is acting normal and one of them isn't. And they're like, why are they acting normal? When they're actually not. That's just them not acting normal is their normal. And I think that's what they don't realize. Them not acting normal is their normal. Them acting normal is not their normal. There we go. I said it correctly that time. Them acting normal is not their normal. And that should be a fucking sign that that they're not being normal. They just look normal. Chizuru is just being herself here. She's just being honest with her realest self here. She's not putting on a mask. That's the illusion. You think she's on a mask. She's actually acting different. And that's what's going on. She's literally acting different here. And that's not normal, which should highlight to you that she's also not normal. You just think she is. Because you've perceived when Chizuru does this, when Chizuru puts on the stone face, that she's being normal. When the stone face is not her normal. Her stone face is not her normal. Whenever she puts on the stone face, that's not her normal. And it's literally Chizuru saying, See the real me. That whenever I'm acting like this, I'm actually not normal. I'm actually not chill. I'm not the Iron Lady. I'm actually freaking the fuck out. And that's what's being conveyed to us here, right? What is normal and what isn't. What we understand to be the truth isn't actually the truth. Just as when Kazuya uses the bath, it's that weird metaphor for sex, where after sex you expect it to be some magical different thing, and it's not. But it being normal doesn't make it bad. If anything, that's a good thing that things didn't change between you after something like that happened. And that only means things will change more in the future. Also, lucky. Yo, this thing's lucky, dude. You got a fucking clover on here, right? And that's why you have this, and literally, Reiji intentionally parallels this to sex because, what do we have? Kazuya says, I can't take this anymore, and he goes to a DVD store. And he beats his meat. And what did I say was a direct parallel to this chapter? Kazuya says Chizuru's exact words in chapter 233. Her exact words. I can't take this anymore. I can't take this anymore. All of this revolves around sex and what sex is and how and the experience you have. Remember what Kazuya said before the date started. His wording is very specific. I wonder what kind of stuff other men think about the day before. All right, the day before. Like it's supposed to be sex, or it's going to be something big that's going to happen that day. Right? And they literally have physical intimacy that creates understanding. Ask chapter 383. That is what this chapter is. All of us were literally expecting sex and a kiss to happen. And Reiji knew this. He knew exactly this. And he played directly into that by literally giving us physical intimacy without sex and after a rejection. It doesn't happen when we think it was going to happen, and it doesn't happen how we thought it would happen, right? We literally get the physical intimacy and the acceptance that Reiji kept foreshadowing, right? The physical connection between them, Reiji kept foreshadowing this constantly. But what does he do? He gives it to us, but just not how we imagined it. Because physical intimacy is about trust and understanding, not simply just outright communication, right? Physical intimacy isn't just, sex, dick, and all that stuff. It's not just kissing. Physical intimacy is touch, closeness. They put your hand on your neck. They touch your leg. They caress your feet, right? The Kazuya carrying her hand around him, right? Physical intimacy doesn't have to literally just be sex. There's more to it. There's more meaning to it. And so Reiji literally showing us physical intimacy and its importance and how that intimacy is literally like sex and it transforms them, but they don't need to be anything other than themselves, right? And Chizuru brings Kazuya back in chapter 385 one last time, right? Kazuya in this chapter is often another fantasy when reality is right there. Kazuya is often another fantasy when reality is right there. But he just needs to face it. And when Kazuya finally accepts the reality and says it outwards into the world, when he finally says, what he was thinking this whole time, when she's being her realest self, and he says this to her, she kisses him because that's what she would do if he said that. Right? She just let go, and Kazuya started living in reality. And he saw everything that was in front of him. Right? Kazuya was still trapped in the illusion here. When the reality was already in front of him, he didn't realize what was right in front of him. That if he just said anything, he would have gotten what he wanted almost immediately. But he's so busy trapped in the illusion, he's not seeing her. This is what chapter 384 is actually saying, in my opinion. She sits with the silence. She sees the world around her. She is present. Chizuru is present. Kazuya is not present. There's a whole bunch of sound, but he's not here. If you walked into the room and Kazuya kept vacuuming like this, you would think he's not seeing you. He's somewhere else. Right? He's literally somewhere else. Chizuru is right here. There's no sound. There's no music. She's not distracted. She's completely focused. She's here. He's somewhere else. And she drags him back down to reality just one last time like she did before. Right? This is Kazuya's illusion. That things were different. That he needed to say one last thing. When in reality, he's always been here. He never left. This isn't a separation. He never left. He didn't leave her heart. He was always here. And so that illusion, it needs to kind of break right now, right? That's why she kisses him. Like if he just said what he wants, she was gonna kiss him. She was always gonna kiss him. I think there's a huge chance she was always gonna kiss him. It wasn't just because he said that. Like she was literally always probably going to, right? But when Kazuya stopped dreaming and started seeing her and just said what he wanted to, she did that, right? So I think that's really fascinating. That element of illusion and being trapped in illusions and not seeing the reality in front of you, and that reality needing to that fantasy needing to shatter so you see the world and appreciate the world for what it is instead of being sad that it's not how you imagined it. Which, by the way, brings me to something kind of interesting I noticed. 40. The sign up here reads 40. I went back to chapter 40 just out of curiosity. And this might be completely irrelevant, but I discovered something interesting that I thought I'd clear up for you guys. So here, let's go to chapter 40 really fast. So chapter 40 is considered by most people as kind of not canon because it's never referenced or talked about, but Reishi does indirectly reference it in some ways. Of course, this chapter naturally deals with sex as an element, but through panties. Reishi does nod back to this in some ways. In particular, chapter 243, when Kazuya thought he found Chizuru's bra. Or chapter 299, when he did in fact find Chizuru's bra and Minnie lied and said it was hers. This directly plays into that. This chapter actually directly plays into that element of illusions and the things you're not seeing right in front of you. So there's a very real possibility this actually Reishi wanted us to look at that. But I'm going to go with a wild limb and maybe say not really. You know, you guys don't believe me whenever I say Reishi leaves clues for us right in front of us. You guys don't fucking believe me. So I'm gonna roll with you guys for a second. You know, I won't say that's what Reishi wants us to do. But I'll read the chapter for you anyway. So Kazuya finds these panties and he's like, oh shit, are these Chizurus? He freaks out. He accidentally grabs it and he hides it. And he goes into his room. He's like, I came back into my room with hers. And what the fuck am I doing? What's wrong with me? I'm a terrible person. So Kazuya here gets a visit from Ruka. And he's constantly trying to hide this thing. And Ruka is like, why do you have your hand in your pocket? You've had it in this whole time. No way. Is there something perverted there? Ruka is like, how could you? You already have me. Show me, right? So she jumps on him. And Kazuya creates a situation that makes Ruka think he's going to kiss her. In reality, that's not what he's doing. He's just trying to grab the thing, right? She's like, what warrants so much hiding? This is getting ridiculous. It's not nice to toy with a maiden's heart. Show me right now. What is it you're holding? So Kazuya runs out of the room and closes the door. Chizuru comes out and she's like, hey, what's all the noise? she's like, "Oh, I see Ruka's here. Are you arguing?" Kazuya's like, "Sorry for being noisy. I'll do something to calm her down, so just take it easy. I'll stay out of your private life." Let me give you the proper translation for this. Here, I'll read it. My friend sent it to me. I'll read you what he actually says. There's a proper translation, and they neither the official localization or this translation translate this line correctly. Let me show you what the actual translation is. The actual translation of what Kazuya says here reads, "Sorry for the noise. I'll do my best to stop so you can rest." And he adds something like, "It's your private, personal time," as in she's not working. Chizuru then proceeds to say, if that's what you want, then that's already... This is also a mistranslation. What she actually says is, if it's about that, then it's already... Mizuhara's acting different. She's acting weird. Kazuya is so busy dealing with this whole panty thing and thinking it's hers when it's in reality Ruka's that he doesn't see what's in front of him. That the thing he's holding is actually Ruka's, right? And that Ruka did all of this, which is the obvious situation. What does he say out loud? "I was so convinced that it belonged to Mizuhara. I didn't expect anything, and I'm still disappointed." Shuts the door. No, and it's all an illusion based on his perception, right? Of what he thought he understood was going on. It's a funny misunderstanding, but there's an illusion here. So what Chizuru was actually saying here, you would think, oh, what's this about? You don't know what this is about. The clues are already there. He literally says, it's your private personal time, as in she's not working. If it's about that, then I'm already... What do we find out in chapter 45? Let's go to chapter 45. What does Chizuru tell him then? "I'm thinking of quitting my job as a rental girlfriend." What has Chizuru been saying she was going to do this entire time? What has Chizuru been saying she's going to do this entire time? Quit her job. And she's already saying she was literally giving him the clues she's gonna quit right then and there. But he didn't see it. He was too distracted by what's going on, and he never finds out. And that's what this was. This chapter is canon. This chapter is actually completely canon, even though Reiji never references it again. Right? This chapter is actually completely canon. That's crazy. And it actually deals with the same exact thing. That's badonkers, dude. That's crazy. And if that chapter has this exact theme of illusion and not seeing what's right in front of you, and Reiji happens to put that number here, and then we have Chizuru saying she's gonna quit. What if like Chizuru already quit? What if Kazuya just never... What if she already quit and you just never saw that? What if the bank visit was something else? What if it was her quitting? Right? Literally, there's so many things we're not seeing that could be right in front of us. She's constantly talking about quitting her job and doing all this stuff. What if she's already ready to quit? And she just wants to be in a relationship. The moment she's in a relationship, she'll just quit right then and there. Right? I guess the other thing we could see is maybe chapter 52 and 86. Just out of curiosity, since those are the numbers right there. Chapter 52. This one. "I'm not good enough. I lack talent. You and I are not the same. Please understand." Oh my God. Chizuru opens up to him. What's chapter 86? "I'm also an idiot." Oh, when she goes to his house for his birthday. What the shit? What? That's crazy. "The truth is, I made a promise to go to Kazuya's. They said they'd celebrate my birthday." Chizuru going to his place. Kazuya saying what he wants. Bro, what the shit? Wait, why are these actual chapter numbers that seemingly matter? What the fuck? What the fuck? I want you. Okay, who remembers our theory from last time? I'm also an idiot. She takes a fucking taxi. Oh my god, she takes an actual taxi to Kazuya's place. And in this chapter, Kazuya is riding a taxi to his new place. What the shit? Oh my god, what happens in chapter 52? No shot. Chizuru's leaving. Umi tries to talk to her. Sorry, I'll be in touch. She ditches him. And who does she run into? But Kazuya himself, who then tells her he saw her play and that she was amazing. And then she told him she failed, just like she told him she failed and that she lacks talent. Even though that dream is out of reach for someone as talentless as me, there are plenty of 19-year-old actresses and it's an expensive dream to boot. You and I are not the same. Wow. Yo. Reiji totally referenced these chapters. I'm gonna believe it. Reiji totally referenced these chapters. The one chapter where Chizuru ditches Umi and Kazuya tells her that her dream is amazing and he literally says you are not the same. And then you have chapter 86 when Chizuru remembers Kazuya saying I want you, and then she takes a taxi to his place just as Kazuya says I'll keep loving you, and then she kisses him and he takes a taxi away. Then we have chapter 40, which also seemingly happens to deal with illusions. Like, what the fuck? Wait, did the camera die? What's wrong? Why'd it go out? Like, bro, what are the fucking odds? That's crazy. There's no way. The numbers seem intentional. The numbers totally seem intentional. I was wondering what the meaning of those numbers are. Now it makes fucking sense. I'm trying to get the thing back up. I don't know what's going on. It was working fine. It was everything was cooking, and then it seemingly fucking died. Oh no, my camera battery's good. I have it plugged into a charger. It is not running out of battery. I don't know why it died though. Here I have a solution. I'll just close it. And then, oh, okay. Let's open it back up. Select a device. If you could pair, that would be nice. I'm trying to rhyme just for you. Wi-Fi connection required. Wait, what? What's going on? Why did my Wi-Fi crash? Well, on my phone. Everything else. Give me a second. I'm working on it. Jesus Christ. Connected without internet? Why? Every time. Every time. Something's gotta go fucking wrong. Okay, we should be up and running again. I don't know why my phone got stupid and it's just like, oh, I'm just gonna not fucking work for some reason, brudda. Oh yeah, I have not been reading chat. But hey, can you be honest with me and just tell me, like, bro, we made some crazy fucking discoveries in this chapter. I went off. I went fucking nuts in this. My analysis was kind of fucking peak. I was going off right there. Minnie acts according to the few information she gets. Since she gets few information, she might give Chizuru another confusion to make another illusion. No, Chizuru is so self-assured at this point, Minnie can't create any more illusions for her. Chizuru is so fucking self-assured. There's no more illusions for me to create. If anything, Chizuru needs to drag Minnie out of the illusion. When you start to see things that people tell you about yourself, you are enlightened and illusions dissipate. We're going to places now, all gas, no brakes. Please, no more roadblocks, Kazuya, you finally see. Oh yeah, that's well said. That's well said, right? You are enlightened and illusions dissipate. We're going places. We're all going places now. We're going places now. All gas, no brakes, right? There's no brakes, no pausing. There's no more pausing. We're going straight ahead, right? There's no more pauses. You never see Kazuya stop, do you? Kazuya never actually stops. He feels like he's constantly moving in this chapter. Even Chizuru, right? She walks out of the room and she comes back. Notice how you never see her like, right? Their backs mirror each other. But notice how you never see her walking back seemingly. You never see her turning around. Right? You always see her moving forward. Constant motion. That's well said. That's well said. We're in constant motion. I already talked about Minnie bringing up the Umi topic. I literally already said this. Minnie is looking to the past. Chizuru and Kazuya are already moving forward. Minnie's already stuck in the... Minnie is in the past. She's not informed. She's literally in the past. Right? The character that's seemingly supposed to represent the present is actually trapped in the past. Isn't that fitting? Kazuya and Chizuru are already in the future. Minnie is literally still stuck in the past. Chizuru and Kazuya need to stop listening to other people and just listen to trust each other. Listening to others develops expectations and misunderstandings. Yeah, listening to others just develops expectations and misunderstandings, and that's exactly the point. That's exactly the point. Chizuru's not going to listen to Minnie here, and Kazuya's not going to listen to anyone else here but Chizuru. He has to trust her and what she showed him, right? Now, although it'd be super funny, please don't make Kazuya accidentally drop the engagement ring on the date with Ruka and he bent. No, that'd be stupid. That would be stupid. The whole idea is they completely trust each other now. The whole idea is Chizuru completely trusts him no matter what she assumes or sees. She just trusts Kazuya completely. Yo, and I find out something interesting. Apparently, the Japanese fans point out Kazuya's new apartment location is literally nearby a cemetery, like they called the fourth area. We're not gonna yeah, I know about this. I'm aware about this, and I know all about where Kazuya lives and all that stuff. I've already read about it. What I don't want to play into just yet is what that actually means just yet in terms of what we're seeing. Because again, we have the whole theme of death being something we're playing into here, but not in the sense that death is the end, rather that death is a new beginning. That's what Reiji's doing. He's using the motif of death, this being their fourth kiss, this being Chizuru's monologues in chapter 382 being at the end of the chapter. Chizuru talking like it's an ending when in reality it's a beginning. That's the whole idea. Is that, yes, we have the repeating number 4. We even have number 4 in this chapter, right? You have two options, a blank thing and 40, right? A number for 4, right? So you're already seeing the number 4 everywhere. You're already seeing the death everywhere, but that's the idea. It's that it's a new beginning. It's the death of illusions, right? It's the death of the illusion. It's the death of everything you seemingly understood. It's a new beginning. Japanese don't like living near cemeteries and houses where someone died. Well, yeah. Would you? Would you? I don't know, bro. Like, living near a cemetery sounds pretty fucking depressing and terrible. And living in a house where someone died, I don't think I want to do that. Looks like Reiji really went through with a separation or snap back to reality, right? Pretty much. Reiji totally went through the separation. No, back to reality. Wake the fuck up. Right? The separation is the illusion. This is the illusion of separation. That's exactly it. There's like that quote from Avatar. I gotta find it. It says it perfectly. I gotta find it real quick. Avatar, the illusion of separation.
The greatest illusion of The greatest illusion of this world is the illusion of separation. Things you think are separate and different are actually one and the same.
Like the four nations.
Yes, we are all one people, but we live as if divided.
We're all connected. Everything is connected.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Right? Everything you think is divided is in fact directly connected. What do the characters constantly focus on in the date? The things that are seemingly dividing them. The things that are not matching up. When those things are directly connected. Right? The things they think they want, they think are the things that will divide them, when in reality they are the very things that connect them. Just as right now, they're not separated, they're together. There's no need for a unifier. That's an illusion. You don't need a unifier. The people who are cheering Minnie on are actually trapped in an illusion, and they need to wake the fuck up. They're not separated right now, right? I was literally right about my initial, I was literally straight, okay, so I had my initial assessment that, like, it's up to Kazuya to come back now. He's been presented a choice, and it's up to him to come back now. He needs to trust her just like she trusted him. And then I kind of doubted myself a little bit. I thought, oh, Chizuru made a mistake here. She didn't explain. She didn't do all that. She doesn't need to explain. If he wants an explanation, he has to ask. Kazuya has to make the moves now. I get it. A lot of people don't think to themselves, oh, Kazuya's done plenty of moving. No, he hasn't. She passed the ball to his court. It's now his turn to move. The relationship is constant movement, not just simply occasionally moving or moving enough. There's no such thing as moving enough. It's constant movement. Hence this. No brakes, all gas, moving forward, right? Kazuya is constantly moving. Literally, he's literally moving. He's constantly moving. And wherever his new direction takes him is where he'll go. Just as Chizuru doesn't stand still. Even when she's standing still, she's not standing still. She's constantly moving. Everything is constantly on the move. We're constantly moving forward. There's a constant sense of motion in these chapters, and that's by design, right? It's no more pausing, no more doubting your choices, right? You only go where you want to go. You need to constantly move. I hope Nagomi fucking makes it. I hope Nagomi lasts for a whole bunch more chapters, right? I hope Nagomi makes it. Because Nagomi keeps thinking she's gonna die, but she keeps fucking making it. And I think Reiji's gonna keep her alive. Just out of sheer spite to Nagomi herself. Because Nagomi keeps acting like she's gonna die, and yet she seemingly lives no matter fucking whatever fucking happens. So I hope she fucking lives. Chapter 40 is like the Davy back arc in One Piece. It'll come full circle in 20 years, trust me. I don't remember that arc. I've read through One Piece. Or no, I've watched One Piece. Davy back. Which one is Davy back? I know it's relevant somehow to the current arcs. I do know that. And I am fully caught up. but I'm not like 100% sure on the details. We know Kazuya's fishes are still in the Kinoshita family home. If Kazuya's family finds out he's living near a cemetery, they're going to chew him out, especially Nagomi, and demand that he leaves ASAP. Not necessarily, no. Has attacked the oh, okay. We read all this. Just FYI, what Kazuya said in chapter 258 and what Chizuru said in chapter 258 is different in Japanese. Kazuya said, I don't think I can take this anymore, but Chizuru said, I hate this. Ooh, what? Really? But somehow translated as I can't take this anymore in English. Well, this is interesting. Here, let's go to chapter 232. See how K-Manga translated it. I'll purchase the chapter right now. It's 233, I believe, actually. Let's buy the chapter. I can't take this. Huh. So why is this one also I can't take this? Why is it... What does she actually say? What is the actual wording? Donkey Kong? What is the actual wording? I can't take this? Why does it... Why... I don't get it. So how could they both translate it to I can't take this anymore? Oh man. Oh man. What a terrible fucking translation. What the shit? I guess that makes me doubt it too. Oh man. What do you mean, oh man? These translations are so fucking bad. They're so fucking bad. No, I'm already doubting them. She said I hate this in Japanese. For fuck's sake. Screw it. She said... That doesn't quite look the same. Here. I'll just ask my other friend. A little easier. I'm double checking. Let's see. Just thought Umi visited Chizuru using death as a reason for his visit. Kazuya will be back for Chizuru because of the dead people guides him. Damn. That's actually a... Damn. Or because of the death of Rental, right? Umi used death as an excuse to come visit Chizuru. Kazuya... Huh. That's actually an interesting one. Maybe that will come into play. Kazuya, well, the death of Rental, right? The death of the illusion. Kazuya uses that death as a reason to come back. Or the kiss of death. In our country, Johan, there's people literally living in cemeteries working there as embler or maintenance workers. Well, yeah, I'm not saying you can't work there. I'm just saying it's not always great, you know. Kazuya's been so passive past couple chapters. Kazuya needs excuse aside from what he wants to be. Kazuya needs an excuse aside from what he wants with Chizuru, and probably an apartment location will be the right reason for him to come back. So the place is literally haunted, and that will make him want to come back. So just like Good-A hated living in that place because of the people there. Kazuya will hate this place because it's surrounded by death, and he wants to be with the living. The kiss of death, huh? That could work. That could be interesting. I can see that. That's an interesting idea. Nagomi is Yukiri Good-A. She's gonna die. That old hag is stronger than people think. She won't die. Yeah. Nagomi just refuses to fucking die. The biggest progress of that kiss is that neither of them are continuing to stay stagnant and asking What now that they're asking different questions is now the time. There's no idling in life. Pretty much. Life keeps moving. You're not going to fucking stand still. It's not going to wait for you. Time is not going to wait for you. Now time has properly started moving again, and it's not going to wait for you, right? Time when they were living together in the 3 months felt like it was just kind of flowing, right? But they were having fun together, right? But now time has started moving again, and they can make that infinite time for themselves. Like when they're together, time feels like it flows differently. And I think that's such a fascinating idea. It's almost like Reiji taking his mistakes with the timing of the arc and actually seemingly making it work. Because by the way, for those who don't know, the 1 month thing is off by like 2 or 3 days. Like if you literally count it, it's seemingly off by like a few days. But Reiji kind of uses that to his advantage to play into the theme of time and how time fundamentally functions, and the idea of us like seemingly not flowing through time normally. But now that time has started to move forward again and is not waiting for them anymore, they have to stop waiting too and create the time they want, right? It's literally that, like, how you spend your time, and it's your choices. So yeah, for this one, yeah, I hate this. Either way, it works. Like, she's blushing like fucking crazy. Oh yeah, I did try to ask a Japanese fan if the number on the car had any special meaning. Like the 5286, it doesn't. There's apparently no meaning to the Japanese. However, each individual sets of numbers, 52, 86, and 40, do match for the number. The nuance is similar anyway. I hate this as if she wants more. Well, yeah, the nuance is similar. I do definitely see that, and I do think that's the point. It's like he's literally leaving the trail in plain sight. Reishi's literally leaving the trail in plain fucking sight. It's right in front of us. We just need to recognize what it is. So yeah, let's go back to our theory for next chapter. So our theory for next chapter is this. It's going to be relevant to the conversation Chizuru and Minnie had in chapter 273. I, again, also said this on Twitter. That the conversation they have will be similar. We already read through it, so we don't need to read through it again. 2, Minnie's under an illusion, and Minnie's illusion needs to fucking break. She needs to come back to reality and see what's in front of her. She needs to stop being trapped by an illusion. 3, Chizuru and Kazuya are not trapped by illusions anymore, and their eyes are open. They're seeing everything right in front of them. Minnie's eyes are closed because she's trapped in an illusion. Chizuru's eyes are open because she sees everything right in front of her. And Minnie needs to wake the fuck up and realize this is Chizuru's house, not her castle. She's not Oda Nobunaga. She's not going to unify them. She's not going to do any of that stuff. She needs to wake the fuck up. Right? So that's going to be the conflict for next chapter, is that Minnie's going to keep trying to push her agenda in some way, and Chizuru's going to wake her up to her actual role and who she actually is, and stop her from constantly dreaming and being lost in this illusion. I think next chapter we'll have a fight of some sorts. I can definitely see a fight of some sorts occurring, and Chizuru calling Minnie out just like she called Mommy out, because, as I've said before, Minnie and Mommy parallel each other. Minnie is Mommy in reverse, because Minnie, like Mommy, needs this illusion to be reality in order to validate her own feelings. Mommy is the same. Mommy in Hawaiians is the same exact thing. She needed that illusion to be reality, and Chizuru had to call her out and be like, have you actually paid attention to yourself? Why are you so obsessed with this? Why do you need this so badly? Are you the one who's actually has feelings for Kazuya, and you're just actually jealous? This is kind of the flip for Minnie. It's not that Minnie has feelings for Kazuya, or maybe she does, right? Maybe Minnie does have feelings for Kazuya. She always hangs out with him. She idolizes him. Maybe it's not so much that, it's that Minnie wants her own love. It's that Minnie also wants her own love, and she needs to validate that through her Oshis getting love for her, right? They need to be in love for her so she can feel like it's enough. Chizuru is saying it's more like I've had enough of this kind of thing. Okay, well now, first you said I hate this. Then you said I can't take this anymore. And now it's I've had enough of it. Now that's like three different things. That's like three different things. I'm just confused now. Anywho. So yeah, Mommy is trapped under an illusion in Hawaiians that she needs to have them not work out to validate her feelings. And in reality, what she's trying to validate is her own jealousy. That she's actually jealous of them and she wants what they have. She's jealous of that. She wants Kazuya for herself. And Chizuru calls her out on those feelings respectively. In that same way, Minnie also wants that for herself. Not necessarily Kazuya, but love like theirs. She's jealous of their love. She envies their love. She envies what Kazuya has with Chizuru. She wants that for herself. And that's fascinating, right? That Minnie wants something like this, but she's afraid to chase it and to have it in her life. And one thing I've noticed too is that Minnie is seemingly actually kind of insecure around people. In particular, I think Minnie is actually kind of weird around other girls, maybe, or I'm not sure. I don't know. She seems friendly to everyone, but she's indicated in the past, whether it be through jokes or some pieces of dialogue, that she's actually somewhat like weird around other women, maybe because she thinks like they'll hurt her or something. It's kind of hard to guesstimate because Minnie's always around other women, but you know, you never see her with other guys besides guys taking pictures of her, right? Minnie is the center of attention, and yet she seemingly doesn't have anything for herself. Isn't that fascinating? Minnie is a YouTuber. She's constantly the face of everyone. She's constantly with everyone, constantly, but she doesn't have something of her own. Someone who only looks at her. Isn't that fascinating? It's like she literally wants everyone to look at her because she wants someone to look at her in a special way. Or maybe she wants to be special in some way herself. It's almost like Minnie wants to be special in some way. I think that's kind of fascinating. And that's why when she sees someone who's actually special, she idolizes them. Now, how desperate will Mommy be when she finds out that the what? They are daring for a real time. She does still like Kazuya. What should she do? Team up with Umi and fail? No. What? Mommy is more likely to kind of like give up at this point, to be real. I think the fact that Chizuru knew that the date with Kazuya was actually simulated with Minnie beforehand made all of this situation somewhat staged. Could have led to the rejection in chapter 362. Yeah, Chizuru finds out about Minnie in chapter 362. So this all being staged by Minnie might piss Chizuru off a little bit, right? That all this was planned out and that created this illusion. Chizuru sees that illusion in plain daylight. So I can see Chizuru being somewhat fucking pissed at Minnie, right? Or like, and literally call Minnie out on all the illusions she's seemingly been creating in this entire fucking time. Minnie thinks she's the unifier. She is the divider. She's been dividing them this entire time, and she doesn't even realize she's doing this. When heard Kazuya did practice date with Minnie, she seemed to show the jealousy or a big frustration. Yeah. No, it's there's a little more nuance to it. We can go to it, but she says something that's very important. She assumes Kazuya went here with Ruka. She's like, you've been here before, right, with Ruka-chan? Kazuya's like, No, I came here to rehearse last week. I had Yaemori-san with me. You can ask her if you want. She's surprised. Besides, it's not the same. Yours was because of your job. She looks at him very closely. But look at what she says. The line she says here is really important. Sorry, but are you really okay? I intend to quit being a rental girlfriend, but you always say stuff like that. I won't be able to stand it if you're the one taking the brunt of it. But you know what I think? If you can imagine your partner being with the opposite sex and not feel anything, that's not really love. So if you don't like it, I want you to tell me. Kazuya was here with Minnie. He's here with the opposite sex. It bothers her. It's not just Ruka, it's the fact that he's constantly with Minnie. Minnie is the thing that's hidden in plain sight, right? Minnie is the thing that's bothering her, that's hidden in plain sight. That she's getting all these experiences without instead of her. Minnie's taking all these experiences instead of her. Kazuya doesn't experience this with Chizuru, he experiences this with Minnie. God, she looks so in love here. Yeah, no. She definitely knows about Minnie being here, and she's going to call Minnie out on this shit. I can kind of feel it. I definitely agree. I think that's something Chizuru's definitely called out about Minnie, is that Minnie was here, and Minnie took this experience, and Minnie's the one who created these illusions. Minnie is the wolf in sheep's clothing, but she doesn't know she's a wolf. Pretty much. Pretty much. She literally doesn't know she's doing this. Minnie is trapped in her own illusion. Minnie is trapped in her own illusion, creating illusions. Right? Here, the best way we can show it to you. In chapter 325, Minnie and Kazuya go to a place, and what does Minnie do here? They go to a kitsune hot pot. Minnie has been to this place 8 times. It is literally her territory, and she guides him through it. She guides him through her illusion-making process. She's the one who gives him ideas on how to create illusions in the practice state. This is literally Minnie's territory. She's teaching Kazuya how to make illusions. She's literally creating illusions. It's like YouTube. It's like YouTube. It's like how people simulate and create concepts and ideas for you. They simulate a feeling for you. They simulate an emotion for you. It's literally that. That's literally what she's freaking doing here. In contrast, Chizuru is literally being offered something, but she doesn't go to that thing. What Chizuru experiences is contrasted by the reality in front of her. The old rundown house, the kitchen, no lights, the night sky, right? In contrast, Kazuya and Minnie are literally in an illusionary place, and she's guiding him through literal illusions. How fitting that Minnie literally guides Kazuya through how she goes through illusions. The biggest G in Rent-A-Girlfriend has to be Curry. The man kept the big secret and got absolutely nothing in return or anything to do with the story anymore. Yeah, Curry's kind of great. Minnie will play I Can Have Master for Myself card to make Chizuru jealous. And Chizuru's going to be like, sure, whatever. I bet Chizuru... see, that's the interesting part. If Minnie tries that, it won't work. And Minnie will be pissed that it didn't work. Minnie will try that and it won't work. And Chizuru will just be like, okay, sure. Right? And Minnie will be pissed it's not going to work. Basically, here's my assessment of how Minnie's going to play this out. Minnie's going to try to get an emotion out of Chizuru. That's what she wants. Minnie always looks for people's emotions to validate her own. She does this consistently, every single time. When they go to the Isekaya, she wanted Kazuya to cry, to feel something, so that she can feel validated in the fact that she feels lonely and she feels like she wants to cry. When Chizuru doesn't react and acts soulless and emotionless, Minnie gets frustrated because why is she acting like that? She acts like a machine. So Minnie actively looks for these things. So this is what she'll do. This is going to be her game plan. She's going to try to get some sort of reaction out of Chizuru. And she's going to keep trying to push and push and push, only to eventually be called out. What are you trying to do? What is the point of this? What do you want, Minnie? And that's when Chizuru will like show her real emotions and call Minnie out and be like, what do you actually want, Minnie? What are you trying to get at here? What's your purpose? Right? You're just trying to validate your own feelings because you're so insecure about them. And I think that's the thing that's left in plain sight for you, is that Minnie is actually quite secure despite being presented as this super secure person. That's Minnie's mask. Minnie's mask is that she's secure and under control. Reiji drew a scribble on Chizuru's... Oh, yeah. He always does it. Kazuya always forgets the rental braids. Yeah. Kazuya always forgets the rental braids, so Reiji intentionally scribbles on them every time. That's the joke. Kazuya always forgets them. Curry's the bro. Even you can grab his balls. He won't give it. What the fuck? Minnie is the person to train the MC, then reveals she's the final boss at the very end. Wait, Johan, what chapter is this again? The one I'm on right now? Chapter 325. Minnie robbed the Joy Polis date from Chizuru. Kinda. Yeah. I saw something Reiji might have did with the art that I'd like to check out real quick. It's interesting that Chizuru already expressed her jealousy when Kazuya with Ruka in chapter 29, so it's been so long. Well, Reiji drew a scribble on Chizuru's braid because Kazuya's mind wouldn't know what hairstyle she would wear. So creative. No, it's because Kazuya always forgets what the braid is. He always forgets what the braid looks like. It's particular. He always remembers the braid, but he always scribbles it out because he forgets what it looks like. It's only 2 chapters after Chizuru pushed Kazuya to test date with Ruka, so she seemed to regret it almost instantly. Of course she did. Chizuru hella regretted it immediately. Because she doesn't want to ship him, but she thinks Ruka's love is real, and she doesn't want to deny that from her. It was the braid thing. That's why I asked. Oh, yeah. There you go. Yeah, people forget that the whole Ruka incident is very, very important for both of them. And it means a lot for the characters. So, how long have I been streaming? I think I'll stop streaming in a little bit. Currently, I'm trying to finish a project. I'm going to show you guys a teaser. I'm finishing the Ruka project. I made some final stuff for the Ruka project, and I wanted to finish the video. I think this will be a pretty fun video, but I'll show you guys the thumbnail I made. This is the thumbnail I made for the video. Oh wow, it's already wrong too. It's at 444 now. Yeah, 444 people have supported it so far. But yeah, I'll have to adjust that. But yeah, I think next chapter is going to be pretty important. And it's going to matter a lot to both Minnie and Chizuru. And Minnie's going to finally, hopefully, wake the fuck up. I'm curious why Minnie didn't react when Ruka introduced herself to her as Kazuya's girlfriend while she knew Kazuya loves Chizuru. Probably, but she's like, oh, it's the second girl or something. I remember Minnie overheard. Remember, Minnie overheard everything, and Kazuya explained to her, so she knew who Ruka was. Yeah. Remember how Minnie initially finds out? Minnie films them. And she sees Ruka talking. So she knows everything. Kazuya explained everything. So Minnie knows who Ruka is. I have a feeling Minnie's role is this going to be far smaller than what we think, similar to the mommy phone call situation, cliffhanger instantly resolved. So what's next on the agenda? Wait, 200K? No, wait, is it? Actually, how much did they make? 24 million yen to USD. It's around 162K. Yeah, around 162K. That's what they're currently at. And yeah, they made all that for this big event. That was all crowdfunding, and it actually all goes back to you too. So that's awesome. Yeah, currently they've made about 162K, and that all comes back to the fans. What is the Ruka project even? I'm going to make a video on it, so you'll get to know. But it's basically a crowdfunding event to celebrate Ruka. That's pretty much what it is. It's a crowdfunding event to celebrate Ruka, and it basically, think of it like an art exhibition, except you get to kind of go and experience the date itself. You get to meet people. You get to meet Reiji. You get to go through this place, and everybody gets access to it for free, right? So in the what is it? When they make the event and the venue, every single person gets access to it for free. You don't have to pay anything. But to actually get the venue set up, they needed the money. When you pay, depending on the tier you pay for, you get things. You get a lot of stuff. In particular, there's a manga that Reiji specifically made where it's Ruka and Kazuya on a date. And that's what the art pieces are from. It's from that date. And pretty much you later the more tiers you get, the more access you get. So like the tier I get the physical and digital version of the manga. I get a Blu-ray that comes with voice acting from Shunhori and what's her name, Naoyu Tayama, the voice actors for Ruka. So they're gonna voice act the actual manga, and it also comes with interviews and films of the actual place itself. So yeah, I'm getting a lot, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hopefully maybe post that on my Patreon. I'll get that like translated and maybe post it on my Patreon, just so people get access to it. And I put something on my Patreon. I'll make it super easy to access. I'll make it like $1, so everyone can get access to it. I just don't want to post it publicly because I don't feel like it's mine to do that. Like, yeah, I bought it, but you know, it doesn't feel quite right. So I do want people to get access to it somehow. So I'm just taking this middle ground, morally gray area where it's like, yeah, I'm technically not sharing it publicly, but if you can get access to it from my own private thing, you know. But that's just my own thing, you know. Weird supporting character got this big project. He literally did it. He literally said he's doing it specifically because Ruka has not gotten time in the manga, and a lot of people want her back. A lot of people are fans of Ruka. They really, really like her. So he's like, I'm gonna do this for Ruka specifically because she hasn't had time in the manga. Specifically because I'm not gonna shift away from the manga right now. I'm gonna stick to what the manga is right now, but I'm gonna do this for Ruka fans so they feel like I'm not just so the character can get some attention. And he plans to do more. He actually plans to do a whole lot more for it. He plans to do. He said they're planning to do other ones for other specific characters. So they're gonna probably do a Chizuru one. They're probably gonna do a Sumi one. They're probably gonna do a Mami one. They're probably even gonna do a Mini one. I don't know. I don't think they'll do a Kazuya one. As much as I wish they would do a Kazuya one, I feel like they might not. It doesn't. No, stop. Wiz, stop. You need to get rid of that mentality. That's not how it works. Reiji has never... Hey, dude, you're talking about the guy who literally drew chapter 218 knowing full well how people would react online. You're talking about the guy who drew chapter 380 knowing people would lose their shit online. That's not happening. Reiji never strays away from what he wants to do because of what people say. That's not a thing he does. No. He's specifically doing... He literally says it in his words. In the explanation for the Ruka project, he literally says, because I'm currently focused on Chizuru and Kazuya's relationship, and I don't want to stray away from that, I'm making this Ruka project because I can't put her in the manga right now, and I'm not going to put her in the manga in such a way right now. He's literally saying that. He's not going to change directions just because of how fans feel. He will try to give them more of what they want, but he's not going to just change the entire fucking story. That's not Reiji does not do that. That's not Reiji's thing. For instance, when they were going through the cohabitation saga, his editor and him wanted to bring Sumi back, but it literally didn't feel right. So they kept not bringing Sumi back as long as they could. They kept hinting at her here and there, and they brought her back in some way meaningfully. But then she left the story almost just as fast, right? Like, literally, he wanted to bring Sumi back for the longest time. He wanted to bring Ruka back. He wanted to bring Mami back. But literally, Reiji actively stuck to his guns and didn't just bring the characters back to bring the characters back. There was reason and purpose to it every single time. So, no. Understand, just because a character is not that much there in the manga right now, he's not going to just magically change things because of how people perceive it and understand it. Literally, most people don't understand this manga. Even Japanese fans don't. Hell, half the time, I'm still figuring it out. Constantly. And he still sticks with that sort of writing. Literally trusting us as the readers to get what the fuck he's saying. So to me, nothing about how Reiji is as an artist, as a person, gives me the indication, I'm going to adjust so the fans understand better. I'm not criticizing you. I'm just highlighting your illusion. Your illusion. I'm just highlighting your illusion, my friend. That's all. Yeah, I probably have to update some more information about it. There is some really cool stuff with the Ruka project too. In particular, if you go to their website, they made a website for it, and it's so fucking cute. It has animations and shit. I'm gonna use that animations in my video. I'm gonna use that animation in my video. So I think now is a decent amount of time to stop. I think this is a good place to stop. I think we've gotten pretty far. And I would like to use the rest of my time to edit that video. So I can hopefully get it done before it's over, because the crowdfunding's almost over. Like, here, I'll show it to you guys. There's oh wow. 4 days, 44 supporters, 24.5%, or 245%. Bro, that's awesome. That's fucking awesome. 44444. All the fours. Chizuru's number, baby. That's a whole lot of death. Yeah, that's awesome. Right? I'm so happy for them. And there's 4 days left. There's essentially 4 days left at this point. It's almost over. One thing, oh yeah, and if anyone wants to support this, there's a really easy way to support this. It's this one right here. This one is super cute. Basically, you can pay as much as you want, and for every 1,000 yen, which is like about like $6, every like $6 or so, you add a flower to a flower stand. So yeah, basically, and the flower stand is like, just, you know, it's a stand with flowers, and they're gonna decorate it, and they're gonna put Ruka on it. And so if you want to support it, you can literally just pitch like $6, and they'll let you support it that way. I supported two of them. I supported not this one, the one a little bit underneath it. Where is it? I don't see the version I did. Yeah, this one. I supported this one, and I supported this one. Those are the two I personally supported. And they worked out great for me, honestly. I'm glad I could support this. I honestly just want to support Reiji, and if anything, I think this art exhibition actually made me appreciate Ruka's character a whole lot more, personally. Like, this actually made me appreciate Ruka's character a whole lot more, and I've started to develop a new perspective on her character, where I've always actually kind of liked Ruka. A lot of people hated Ruka. I actually always kind of liked Ruka as a character, and she started to only grow on me more over time. Like, I've started to really appreciate Ruka's character. And it's the same exact reason why, like, I've always liked Mami's character, and Jaws and I always vibed, because Mami's character is interesting and is actually well written, and she's not, like, she does bad things, but she has the potential to be a good person, and she just needs to get out of this trapped environment that she's in. And so yeah, I've started to really appreciate Ruka's character a whole lot more because of this event, and it's made me see her in a much better light and appreciate her a lot more, just as the Japanese fans do, right? So yeah. Let's see here. It would be cool if the Ruka manga was made into an OVA. I doubt it. They might reference it in some shape or form in the anime, but I won't get an OVA. Imagine if they do a Nagomi crowd. No. 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 Reiji would never do that. He would never do that. Fucking crowdfunding for a grandma, pass. I think the only thing that makes me sad is I don't think Kazuya will get a crowdfunding, but it'd be so fucking cool if he does a crowdfunding for Kazuya and Chizuru. Peak. I don't think so, but peak. It would be so cool if he involves Kazuya somehow by having him maybe be with Chizuru. That would make my fucking day, you know? Like a Kazuya and Chizuru crowdfunding makes my fucking day. Because I want Kazuya to get some fucking popularity, dude. I love the man. I want him to get some more attention, but I know how it is. I understand this ball game. I don't really hate her. It just kind of felt like she was in the way every now and then. And that's the idea. Oh, unless you mean Nagomi. Something with Kazuya, in my opinion, I grew to appreciate him more because of you. Used to think he's a C-, now he's an A+. Or now he's an A. For me, Kazuya is S tier. Kazuya is fucking S tier, dude. He's not A+. He's not A for me. He's S tier. He's actually fucking peak. Kazuya is straight up peak, and it's so sad people don't appreciate him. If Umi will not get a crowdfunding. Umi is not getting a crowdfunding. I can expect the crowdfunding to be for the main heroines. That's all. I can expect the crowdfunding to be specifically for the main heroines. Umi barely has a role in the story. Why the fuck would he get a crowdfunding? He gets like a few chapters. Like, he gets a few chapters. He's not in any cover. Umi is not on any volume cover of any sort in any shape or form. He doesn't fucking matter. Umi's not getting anything. I think literally it's the main girls, it's the main heroines of the story who will be getting crowdfundings, and that includes Mami, Ruka, Sumi, Minnie, and Chizuru. I don't think Kazuya would get one, but it would be super cool if Kazuya does. It'd be so fucking cool if Kazuya gets one alongside Chizuru, because I don't think Kazuya could get one on his own as much as I would want him to. So it'd be cool if he gets one with Chizuru. We need Kazuya to be Santa Claus. Imagine the character interactions. Kazuya is the working horse. He deserves recognition. I mean, Reiji puts him on the back of every volume. So one time I asked Reiji, I'm like, why does Kazuya never get covers? Why is Kazuya always not in the front cover? He's like, because Kazuya is always on the back cover. And I'm like, wait, what? And he's like, yeah, I draw Kazuya with immaculate detail on the back cover with the same amount of detail as I do the front cover. Kazuya is always on the back. He's lifting the story up. I'm like, damn. Shit, you look at it that way. That's kind of cool, actually. He's like, yeah, Kazuya is in every volume cover. He just happens to be in the back, right? You don't see him immediately because you're looking at the girls. The girls are pretty. You're looking at them first. But Kazuya is always on the back. Kazuya is always there no matter what. His influence is all over the story. And I'm like, shit, that's sick as fuck. It'd be cool if he does move him to the front at some point, but you get my point. We need a front cover Kazuya. I as much as I want to, it might not happen. I think Kazuya will always be the back to Chizuru, right? He's always on Chizuru's back, which is fitting. You know, that's pretty cute. Maybe we can see Kazuya as the Santa and have him order him the elves. Okay, what the hell? Now you're just being weird. Kazuya, the backbone. When did you find the backbone in the front? What is when you turn around? Duh. Okay, so I think that's he'll always be behind her. Oh, he's always supporting her, dude. He's her back. He's carrying her on his back. Always my goat. My goat. Okay. So I think I'm gonna end it here. What time is it? It's 5:30 on my end. My idea isn't that weird. Let's read it again. Kazuya is Santa and have him order around the elves, musicals, fights, and an amazing villain. Oh my fucking god. Okay, fine. It's not that weird. I misinterpreted it as Kazuya is ordering around the elves as in the girls, so I was like, ugh. But fair enough. But even then, you know, felt a little weird at first, but I get it. I get it. Well, Santa's a dick. He shouldn't order people around. Be nicer to your people, man. Anywho. Thank you guys for watching. I think that will be everything for now. I'm going to call it a day so I can get some editing done before I got to get to bed so I can get up in the morning again. Whoa. Anywho, I'll also have to edit this afterwards because we had some great analysis here. We went through the fucking chapter, dude. We broke everything down like a really meaningful way. Anywho, that's it for now. I'll see you guys later. I've been Fate, and remember, let's mosey. Okay, see ya fellas later. Bye-bye.